Let us pray. Almighty God, you in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the office of leaders and county assemblies for the welfare of society and the just government of the people. We beseech you to behold with abundant favor your servants whom you have been pleased to call to the performance of important trust in this republic. Let your blessing descend upon us here assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. Honorable members, with reference to standing order number 32, I'd like to request the quorum bell to be rung for the first 5 minutes. Honorable members, I can spot the Deputy Majority Whip. Can you please confirm if you have quorum?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We have quorum.
Madam Clerk, can you please take us through the order paper for the day?
Order paper number 360 of today, Wednesday, 8th October 2025 at 2:30 p.m. Order number 1, administration of oath.
Next order.
Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
Next order.
Order number 4, petitions.
Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Next order.
Order number 7, statements.
Yes, Honorable James Were of Nyalenda B Ward.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Orders number 4, 2B, to seek a statement from the Chairperson of Committee on Water, Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources regarding the population of county fishery waters at Lower Nyalenda B, that is Dunga area, allegedly caused by the discharge of untreated industrial waste in River Nyamasaria from Kibos Sugar Company and other industries into Lake Victoria. Madam Speaker, the said pollution has reportedly led to massive deaths of fish within the aquaculture cage units and fish ponds at the Lower Nyalenda B, thereby disrupting fishing operations, destroying fish breeding areas, and threatening the livelihoods of local fishermen and fish farmers. Further, Madam Speaker, the contamination of water has exposed residents to waterborne diseases and created breeding sites for mosquitoes. Madam Speaker, specifically, I seek clarification on the following. 1. What actions has the county government of Kisumu, through the Department of Water, Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources, taken to address the pollution menace caused by the industrial effluent discharge into lake? 2. Has any notice been issued to Kibos Sugar Company and other industries responsible for the pollution? And if so, what compliance or enforcement measures have been undertaken? 3. What immediate steps are being taken to compensate fish farmers who suffered losses due to fish deaths resulting from the pollution? 4. Has the county government initiated any environmental cleanup exercise and desilting of River Wigwa around Nanga, which collects waste from Manyata and Nyalenda before draining into the lake? 5. What long-term measures are in place to ensure sustainable management of fishery resources to prevent recurrence of such pollution in future? And Madam Speaker, these concerns are vital for the protection of our environment, public health, and the sustainability of the country's blue economy. I therefore request that the chairperson of the committee provides this House with a comprehensive statement addressing these issues at earliest convenience. But I wish also be much obliged if the response is brought within 7 days. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable members, I can now spot the chair for water, for the Committee on Water, Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources. I'd like to give you an opportunity to give a response on the request from the statement. Honorable Samuel Dede.
Thank you, Chair. As the concern of the honorable member from Nyalenda B, I think if given time, we go and do fact finding to see what transpires on the ground. If given time, I think we'll bring back the report on the floor of the House. Thank you.
Honorable members, a statement has been brought to the floor of the House by Honorable James Were of Nyalenda B. And I'd like to direct this statement to the Committee of Water, Environment, Climate Change and Natural Resources. And I'd like to give them 14 working days. Unlike what the Honorable Member requested, 7 days would be impractical to bring back a report. So I'll give them 14 working days to bring back a report to the House. Our next order, clerk. Oh, honorable members, we are still on statement time, sorry. We are still on statement time. Yes, Honorable Samuel Dede.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I've got a statement under topical concern. Madam Speaker, being that
Honorable Dede, you know very well you're a second timer. As per standing orders, any statement on topical concern, the procedure that it needs to follow for it to come to the floor of the House. So I'll not allow that. So just take back your seat, do the right procedure, and bring the statement to the House.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Under personal statement. Personal statement. Madam Speaker, concerning the electorates where I represent, Madam Speaker, there's an issue of insecurity within the area. One called City Manager Abalawanga.
Honorable Member, that is a statement on topical concern. Yeah, just follow the right procedure and bring it in the right way. Honorable members, we are still on statement time. Next order, clerk.
Commencement of business. Order number 8, motion. Adoption of the report of PICPA Committee on the examination of the reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements of Kisumu County Alcoholic Drinks Fund for the financial years 2020-2021, 2021-2022, 2022-2023, and 2023-2024.
Yes, Honorable Kennedy Uko.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, you can remember this motion was to be moved on Thursday, and due to lack of quorum, it had to be postponed to today. So kindly refer back to the detailed report which was posted on Thursday. Madam Speaker, on behalf of the Public Accounts and Investment Committee, PECPAC, and pursuant to the Kisumu County Assembly Standing Order 188, I wish to present to this House the report by the Auditor General on financial statement of Kisumu County Alcoholic Drink and Drinks Control Fund for the year ended 30th June 2021, 30th June 2022, 30th June 2023, and 2024. The County Assembly exercises oversight over county government entities and investments and their expenditure pursuant to Article 185.3 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010. Article 229.8 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 requires the County Assembly within 3 months after receiving an audit report to debate, consider the report, and take appropriate action. The committee held a number of sittings during which it received written and oral evidence from the accounting officer on audit queries raised by the Auditor General on the financial statement of Kisumu County Alcoholic Drinks Control Fund for the financial year 2020-2021, 2021-2022, 2022-2023, and 2023-2024. Honorable Speaker, for the 3 consecutive financial year 2022-2021, 2020-2021, I mean, 2021-2022, and 2022-2023, the fund received a disclaimer of opinion indicating that the Auditor General was unable to obtain sufficient and appropriate audit evidence to form an opinion on the financial statement. In the most recent financial year 2023-2024, the fund received a qualified opinion signifying the that although the financial statements were fairly presented in most material respects, there were specific areas of concern that limited the Auditor General's ability to issue a clean or unqualified opinion. This trend demonstrates gradual progress, but also highlights persistent weaknesses in financial management, internal control, and compliance with public finance management framework. Honorable Speaker, across the financial year under review, several recurring weaknesses were noted in financial management, governance, and accountability of the fund. The following key issues were raised by the Auditor General across the 4 financial years. 1, unsupported expenditure and revenue collection due to inadequate documentations, incomplete impress register, and missing ledgers or vouchers. 2, weaknesses in cash and bank management, including unexplained variances, unsupported cash in transit, irregular borrowing, and failure to conduct regular bank reconciliations. 3, poor asset management characterized by failure to disclose non-current assets, incomplete asset register, lack of work in progress record, and cases of stolen assets without adequate follow-up. 4, procurement irregularities such as bypassing e-procurement, use of inappropriate procurement method, and weak supplier vetting mechanism. 5, budgetary and revenue management challenges, including consistent under-collections of revenue, non-automation of liquor licensing process, and absence of guiding strategic plan. 6, governance lapse, including unresolved prior year matters, late admission of financial statements, and lack of risk management frameworks. Honorable Speaker, these issues demonstrate systematic weaknesses in financial management of the fund, internal control, and compliance with the Public Finance Management Act 2012, the Public Procurement Asset Disposal Act 2015, and other applicable laws. The committee, having held meetings with both the fund management and the Office of the Auditor General, has in its recommendations emphasized on the need for the following to help the fund move a step forward further in its financial management and adherence to law of public finance management. 1, strengthening internal control and full compliance with financial regulations. 2, Commission of Revenue Collections and timely submission of financial statement. 3, proper asset and cash management, including regular reconciliations and safeguarding of public resources. 4, full adherence to procurement laws and procedures to ensure transparency and value for money. 5, development and implementation of strategic plan and risk management policy to guide sustainable operations. 6, immediate resolutions of all prior year audit matters to restore public confidence in the fund. 7, where expenditures were unsupported, even at the time of committee deliberations, the committee has recommended referral to such matters to the relevant oversight and investigative bodies for further inquiry into possible loss of fund. Similarly, in instances where the accounting officer authorized the use of fund contrary to the law, the committee has recommended immediate recovery of the amount from the responsible officers. Madam Speaker, before I register my appreciation, I may like to take members to page 29, 5.5, where we are talking about unsupported expenditure on use of goods and services amounting to 16,600,275. The committee recommendation, we recommended that 1, that the matter be referred to the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission for further investigation into possible loss of public funds. 2, that the matter remain unresolved. Madam Speaker, before I do that, there is also irregular borrowing That is just an extract apart from the long statement. 5.9, where the Department of Trade, Tourism, Industry and Marketing made a borrowing of Kenya shillings 481,500 from the Liquor Fund on 23rd January 2023 to facilitate the CECM trade to attend a launch of project in Nairobi. Payments were made via impress issued to 7 officers. However, the amount was not refunded as at 30th June 2023. In the circumstances, the recoverability of the amount of Kenya shillings 481,500 shillings borrowed from the fund could not be confirmed. And may I read the committee observations that the Department of Trade, Tourism, Industry and Marketing borrowed Kenya shillings 481,500 from the Liquor Fund on 23rd January 2023 for travel-related expenses without evidence of payment as at 30th June 2023. That the practice of borrowing from the Liquor Fund is irregular and contrary to the principle of the Public Finance Management Act, which requires all expenditures to be appropriated through approved budget. Committee recommendations that pursuant to Article 226(5) of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, which states that if the holder of the public office, including a political office, directs or approves the use of public fund contrary to law or instructions, the person is liable for any loss arising from that use and shall make good the loss, whether the person remains in the holder of the office or not. The chief officer for finance, economic planning, and ICT immediately initiate recovery of sum of Kenya shillings 481,500 shillings directly from the personal account of the accounting officer, that is the accounting officer for the Liquor Fund, who authorized the regular borrowing and ensure the amount is refunded to the fund without delay. 2, that in future all expenditures must be planned and provided for in the approved budget and not financed through irregular borrowing from the fund. Honorable Speaker, I wish to register my appreciation to the following to honorable members of the committee, the office of the Speaker, and the clerk of the Assembly, and the committee secretariat and the office of the Auditor General for the facilitation and technical support that made the production of this report possible. Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the Public Accounts and Investment Committee, I now wish to present the report on the consideration of Auditor General's report on the financial statement of Kisumu County Alcoholic Drink Control Fund for the financial year 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2023-2024, and I urge this House to adopt it. I hereby, Madam Speaker, request that this House adopt this report of the Public Accounts and Investment Committee on the consideration of Auditor General's report on the financial statement of Kisumu County Alcoholic Drink Control Fund for the financial year 2021, 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2023-2024. May I call upon Honorable James Omolo to second it. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Yes, Honorable James Omolo. Honorable members, and now that the report by the Peak Park Committee on the examination of the reports of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Kisumu County Alcoholic Drink Fund for the financial years 2020, 2021, 2021, 2022, 2022, 2023, and 2023, 2024 has been presented and seconded. And as per standing orders, I'd like to propose a question. And I propose that this report is now open for debate. Yes, Honorable Tom Nyaoke of
Sorry, thank you, Madam Speaker. And thank you, Chair, for feedback, for the good report that you have brought to us. Madam Speaker, it is hardly 24 hours that we had a debate in the floor of this House talking about issues of asset registers. Madam Speaker, we have not even gone very far, and the report which is before us has also noted that this particular institution also seems not to be keeping asset registers. And Madam Speaker, that implies that all the items that we procure, the machines, and those other things are not kept in any of the records that they have. Madam Speaker, in this particular report, there is a case of a place which I really find very interesting. Madam Speaker, there is part of this report that is telling us that the fund reported 15,269,400 shillings under fines, penalties, and other levies representing license fees that were collected during the year. However, even despite reporting this 15 million and above, Madam Speaker, there are no supporting documents to prove whether this money was over 15 million, whether it was 100 million, or whether it was 10 million only. The figure is properly shown that that is what they collected, but there seemed to be no any document to prove the same, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the fund manager is supposedly someone who we believe must be knowing what he's supposed to do. Madam Speaker, just to fail to do these simple things shows that there's some monkey business that seem to be going on, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, we are on record to having been looking at the revenue collection within the county, Madam Speaker, and we are still not yet happy with the targets that is being reached. But if we can see some of our revenue sources being just not taken seriously like this, Madam Speaker, it begs a lot to be done, Madam Speaker. The recommendation that has been given by the committee, Madam Speaker, I believe we are looking forward as implementation committee also to look at it just to make sure that the recommendations are followed and that all of them are adhered to. Madam Speaker, there seems to be a deliberate attempt to avoid records as much as possible, particularly in revenue collection, Madam Speaker. And if we let it go like this, Madam Speaker, we are going to continue complaining about low revenue collection within the county. And yet, we have got sufficient places and areas that we can improve so that our revenue collection should also go up, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, with that few remarks, I beg to support the motion.
Yes, Honorable James Were.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I also rise to contribute to this report. Madam Speaker, first of all, let me commend the committee for the job well done. Madam Speaker, several issues have been raised in this report. And Madam Speaker, it's high time now for the Stamp Authority to ensure that every recommendation that has been put forward is implemented and adhered to. Madam Speaker, if you check some of the few things that were flagged by the Office of Auditor General. Like a case in point, late submission of financial statement. Madam Speaker, if you've been given a responsibility or a task to do, why do you fail to submit the reports on time? Why do we just want audit mentions that can be corrected? Madam Speaker, if you look at the committee observations, you find that our management submitted their statements by 12th November 2024. Very late. These are the things that we are able to cure so that we have good audit records. Madam Speaker, several things have been mentioned again. Failure to automate revenue collection. Why do we fail? If we've been advised to automate, why do we fail to automate? It means that there is something that we are hiding. There is something that we are covering. Maybe we don't want to generate revenue for our county, or maybe some of our crooked officers want to siphon money for their own benefit. Madam Speaker, the committee observed that liquor licensing revenue collection remained manual, which is prone to abuse, because we will not be able to ascertain that how much was realized within the financial year. It could be that they are generating a lot, but what they are declaring is just a smaller portion of that money that they have collected. These are things that, Madam Speaker, we have to address and correct. Madam Speaker, again, illegal borrowing. Which law allow the officers to borrow money from a fund? And Madam Speaker, if you go by the recommendations here, the report states categorically that this matter should be investigated further by the Office of Ethics and Anti-Corruption. If that is done, I think future reports or future audits will be done in accordance with the law. Because people will fear doing what the bad thing or the wrong things. Because we know what we are supposed to do, but we are not doing because we are covering something. Madam Speaker, I therefore beg to support. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Geoffrey Warindu.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Let me also appreciate the committee for the good work done, and let me also support the report by the PICPAC committee. Madam Speaker, it's a report that contains almost 4 financial statements, and the first 3, that is 2020, 2021, 2021, 2022, 2022, and 2023, all of them were having a disclaimer opinion, and this one is a clear indication that we are dealing with someone who does not want to learn from the past mistakes and to correct the mistakes that had been highlighted. Madam Speaker, if you go to 2023, 2024, they are now giving us a qualified opinion. And this again indicates that we are dealing with someone who really knew what he was supposed to do, and he was not doing the correct thing. And I want to agree with the recommendations that at least for the fund administrator, some of the matters that have been raised here should be forwarded to ESCC for further analysis, and the necessary actions will be taken. For the first 3 years, you realize that the accountant was not even able to provide photos of the directors, the academic and professional qualifications, And these are basic things for the accountants, for someone who is a CPA certified person, that when making a financial statement, at least it should adhere to the laid out format that is provided there. And you find that some of these things were just missing. I don't know, they were by design or they were, it just didn't want to put them. The second point, Madam Speaker, in terms of fines, penalties, and other levies that were collected, indeed they gave around 15,269,400 shillings. And this, if you look at it, can act as a potential stream for an on-source revenue collection, which will assist our basket. But they were asked to provide and to present a list of all the bars and restaurants that are operating within the Kisumu County, and they were not able to do this. So it was so hard to tell whether this 15,269,400 shillings was the genuine amount that was raised from these fees, fines, penalties, and other levies, or they underquoted the amount that they had collected. And indeed, Madam Speaker, if you are very serious, if we really want the county to move forward, we need to know the number, we need to have this list of the bars and restaurants operating within the Kisumu County, and we need to know the amount that each and every bar and restaurant is giving as a to the county. Then we had unsupported cash and cash equivalents balances. Sometimes I believe these are just by design, when you are giving the values and the figures and you are not able to provide the supportive documents, then it's so difficult and hard to tell whether the values that we are talking about are the genuine amounts that was used. And this also gives way to pilferages of some money which cannot be accounted for. Madam Speaker, there is also unsupported expenditure on general expenses. We cannot have a fund and we can't be giving the supportive documents for what they are spending on and what they are using, Madam Speaker. Then we also have lack of strategic plan for this fund. Indeed, if we can take this fund seriously, then I want to believe that our own source revenue at least will improve, even if it is by 1%, and that will help us. So if you look at all the recommendations that are given, at least for once, and I want to believe nowadays the committee, the chair of the committee is nowadays is not giving the sweeping recommendations by my good friend, Honorable Oiko, but at least we have some recommendations that when looked into seriously, then something serious will be done, and we shall see the changes and the impact that we can get from such like these funds. Madam Speaker, I support the report. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Samuel Dede.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity. Madam Speaker, going by the information we received from the big committee, Madam Speaker, it seems that there are a lot of gaps within this Department of Trade. To begin with, there was no breakdown in each financial year, which they were brought to the floor. Secondly, the unsupported expenditure, Madam Speaker, is not clearly indicated. And the most interesting part of it, Madam Speaker, the illegal borrowing. And that 481,500 shillings was borrowed on 23rd January 2023 for a function in Nairobi. The function captured the 7 officers from the department. Who are these officers, Madam Speaker? And if we go for borrowing in that manner, and we can't express who the officers were, the number of days they took, or the allowance broke down, which was not indicated. Madam Speaker, as per the information, in the 2020-21, 2020-21, 2021-22, 2022-2023, we got a disclaimer opinion. The disclaimer opinion, Madam Speaker, clearly states that the person who was in the office by that time, who was the accounting officer at that particular time, didn't know what was transpiring. And if you go by that, we find that in that Department of Trade, each and every time we have different chief officers. By then, there was a different chief officer by that period. Following then, there was also a chief officer at that particular time. Currently, we have an acting chief officer within the department. And we are recommending that the person who the money was misused by that particular time to be withdrawn from his personal account. Where will we get this person? Because at this particular point, all those who are in this office at this particular time, we don't know where the information or the disclaimer arises, because in 2020, between 21 and 2023, there were different chief officer who was there. Currently, we have an active one. The one who was there in 2024, 2023, 2024, we can't trace even his whereabouts at the moment, because there was a chief officer there by the name Asuna Francis. Currently, he's not featuring even in that department. And we don't know his whereabouts because the acting officer in the office currently is Anyanga, one called Samuel Anyanga. So whom are we going to trace this issue at this particular time? If this Francis Asuna is nowhere to be seen, perhaps it's not in the county government of Kisumu, because there's no department we can trace Francis Asuna. How will we get back the money, Madam Speaker? So it seems that in the department, Madam Speaker, there are gaps which they have to fulfill in order to at least get well use of the money in the department. And my major worry is the accounting officers in the department. Each and every particular time, there's a different accounting officer. Even though the law states clearly that the person who was in that office at that particular time will be held responsible, be it in office or not in office, he will be held responsible for those who are anything which transpired in that account at that particular time, and perhaps is now not in the payroll, and the recommendation that the money to be deducted from his account directly, perhaps is now not controlling any account. Otherwise, Madam Speaker, I appreciate the team for a thorough investigation, and with their recommendation, if acted upon, even though they talked of recovering the money by immediately, and the chief officers are not there at that particular time, I think now it's upon the committee to do more fact-finding on that. Otherwise, I support the report, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Yes, Honorable Vitalis Komuda.
Many thanks, Honorable Madam Speaker. The silence speaks about it all. That says, who requires the mover to reply. Many thanks.
Honorable Kennedy Uko.
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
No, at times we say take time to prepare.
Honorable Iko, are you contributing?
Yes, Madam Speaker, I want to contribute a little.
And you wait for the mover to be called to reply?
I didn't even hear him talking. The Mise was still preparing.
Okay, go ahead. Then the mover can reply.
Yes, just 2 minutes. Madam Speaker, as I was entering the plenary, a good contribution was being made by a member of the committee, Honorable Were, that when the committee looked at this report, they will urge the House to give their thumbs up to this report to be further investigated by ethics and anti-corruption. Madam Speaker, that is a very good report and a very good contribution, because when the auditor presents a report and in the report the auditor is crying that they cannot get the necessary financial records to make them add 1 plus 1 to make 2. Madam Speaker, the audit has given an impression that the financial statements that were presented to them lacked a document called trial balance. When the office can prepare financial reports and they have not prepared the trial balance, Madam Speaker, it is a very awkward situation. One wonders the qualification of the accountants who are in this department. Madam, it is a big challenge to us when the Office of the Auditor General presents such a report to us. What decision do we make? As per the matters they have flagged. They are telling us they were not able to prepare the basic records in the absence of trial balance. The records are also submitted late. The department has also no strategic plan. Madam Speaker, I will concur with the committee when they recommend that this report should be forwarded for further investigation by Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, so that the department knows that we are equal to the task when the report comes to this assembly. And I do support, Madam Speaker. These are reports that we don't just need to speak our language. We need to be specific. At times, I like saying I so contribute, because that is when I get the kind of report presented. But when they are giving specific instruction, when they are giving, they are specific in their report, Madam Speaker, we need to support the committee, and the House needs to make its decision. I support the report.
Yes, Honorable Kennedy Ouko.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, let me take the issues raised by Honorable Iko. That really we have to question ourselves. Do we have the competent people who are running our financial management in the counties? Because most of these financial statements cannot be made without a CPA. And if somebody to qualify as a CPA, that means that person is certified an accountant. And that kind of title should be reflected in the financial statement. We have a problem each and every time when we present reports here. We have a lot of anomalies which do not occur. If the financial statement is really prepared by the accountants who are CPAs. So, Madam Speaker, you see the kind of loop. In the absence of trial balance, which actually will inform the real statement, if somebody can fail to make a trial balance, what do you expect? You don't expect anything to balance. That is very clear. And remember that this statement is made by a CPA, paid by the public fund, who is claiming to be qualified to deliver on the public resources. Madam Speaker, we had a lot of problems with this department. The procurement irregularities. Madam Speaker, it is quite unfortunate that when we are doing the procurement, they bypass the e-procurement process, which is required. And it is in law. It is quite unfortunate. The use of inappropriate methods weak vetting mechanism, this would bring a lot of problems because probably unqualified suppliers would be allowed to do business with the government if they fail to do this. It's very clear, Madam Speaker. Even the reporting methods, it's quite unfortunate that they can't report as required, and there are templates provided for reporting on financial matters. They don't use, they don't use this kind of templates. Madam Speaker, we had issues concerning recovery of some monies. The law is very clear. Article 226(5) of the Constitution says this: if the holder of the public office or political office directs or approves the use of public fund contrary to the law or instructions, the person is liable for any loss arising from that use and shall make good the loss, whether the person remains the office holder or not. The law allows, even if you leave office today and you approve such kind of illegal transactions, we will follow you even if you are at home. So the law is very clear on what we want. Madam Speaker, it is quite unfortunate that the first year, second year, third year, we had disclaimers. We had them here. They were trying to explain themselves. But we were to put the auditors in task to explain how come somebody who has been failing throughout all of a sudden came to be having a qualified opinion. Madam Speaker, you could not believe what the auditor said. It is upon the House, the committee, to make a decision on such kind of matters. And we made a decision. And the decision is in the recommendations. Madam Speaker, some of our fund managers, those who are in charge of managing our resources, Madam Speaker, some are very incompetent. Somebody is brought to the assembly, he doesn't understand what is in the financial statement, is the one managing the fund, he doesn't know where to report to, he doesn't know where to take the responses, maybe to the assembly and to the office of the Auditor General. You find yourself sending some back to do the right things. And we know, Madam Speaker, we had a lot of financial reports from the Auditor General to look at. Some of these officers are dragging us behind. And we have raised this. We are happy the committee of implementation is doing their work now. At least they have started following up. We request that they speed up the kind of work they are doing, and we also have to acknowledge their work. Madam Speaker, I would like to thank our members of the County Assembly for the kind of support they have been giving us. But I, at times, invite most of our members that when they hear we have a sitting with the fund manager or the executive or somebody like that, please come to the assembly so that we may work together as an assembly of Kisumu County, not as a committee of PECPAC. Because at long last, the oversight role belongs to every member in the assembly. Thank you, Madam Speaker. I reply.
And honorable members, and now that the report by the PICPA committee on the examination of the report of the Auditor General on the financial statement of Kisumu County Alcoholic Drinks Fund for the financial years 2020, 2021, 2021, 2022, 2022, 2023, and 2023, 2024 has been presented, seconded, and debated. And it's time for me to put a question. And I put that as many of the opinion that this report be adopted, say aye. As many of the contrary opinion, say nay. And the ayes have it. And therefore, the report by the PICPA committee on the examination of the report of the Auditor General on the financial statements of Kisumu County Alcoholic Drinks Fund for the financial years 2020, 2021, 2021, 2022, 2022, 2023, and 2023, 2024 has been adopted today, the 8th of October 2025 at 15:28 hours. And I direct that this report, together with the answer report, be submitted to the relevant department for action. Our next order, clerk.
Madam Speaker and honorable members, there is no any other business in the order paper.
Honorable members, we can be upstanding. And there being no any other business, this House stands adjourned until tomorrow, the 9th of October, 2025 at 2:30 p.m.